Good evening. We begin with a devastating loss of the Kelowna crane collapse as families are mourning 5 men killed in that deadly accident. A 5th body has now been recovered from the site, buried for 2 days. This as grieving families visit the scene, some wondering how this tragedy could have happened. CTV's Michelle Bernaro is live once again for us tonight in Kelowna. Michelle, another emotional day at the scene.
Yeah, another tough day for the families here, Scott. Families coming to the scene, as well as strangers, all of them heartbroken by what's happened here. That 5th body recovered at around midnight by a specialized team. That team made up of firefighters, engineers, and paramedics, all working on getting that body out. The slow and cautious process of dismantling the crane is underway as the memorial to the victims grows. When the crane collapsed Monday morning, 4 construction workers and a 5th person working in an adjacent building were killed. The body of that 5th man was trapped beneath the rubble.
Kelowna Fire had an idea where this victim may be, and we provided some confirmation with our canine.
Canada Task Force 1 arrived on scene Tuesday, working with local experts to secure the site so the body could be removed.
The victim was trapped within that debris and underneath those 2 pieces of crane. So we had to secure those pieces of crane and remove them before taking action as far as removing the patient.
4 of the victims have been identified. One of them is 32-year-old Jared Zook, whose grieving family visited the scene.
Very gentle spirit and always a grin on his face. Every picture you take, there was a grin on his face.
His family struggling to understand how the tragedy could have happened.
It's wrong.
Something is wrong. This should never have happened. These are dismantled all the time. It just doesn't happen.
One of the other victims, 23-year-old Kalen Vilnius, who had just returned to his construction job that very morning after about 6 months working in a different job.
He was very outgoing, very caring, loving kid. This is it's devastating, to say the least. It's not something I wish on anyone.
Chris Vilnius says even finding out why this happened won't change anything.
Is it going to bring Kalen back? It's not going to bring Kalen back. So I'm not here to point fingers. I'm not here to point blame. There was an accident. 2
of the other victims, brothers Patrick and Eric Stemmer. Their family owns Stemmer Construction, a longtime company headquartered in Salmon Arm and also involved in building the Kelowna high-rise.
There's a real pale over the city, a real feeling of empathy and sadness.
A sadness also deeply felt here in Kelowna. And families tell us that on Friday night, a vigil will be held here to honor the victims. Scott?
Okay, Michelle, another question tonight is what is happening with the evacuees in that surrounding area? Are they being allowed to go back home tonight?
And so there was a local state of emergency declared when the crane collapsed, and a number of residences here, including apartment buildings, evacuated. Now, while that local state of emergency remains in effect, some of those evacuees have been allowed to return home. However, the majority of them still remain out of their homes. Scott?
Okay, thanks, Michelle.